work. She's encouraged and supported non-Indigenous educators to see environmental and science education through to EDSEAM, and her work on the Treaty Education Framework and professional teacher professional development workshops, and her involvement in Nova Scotia's Nitukalim 12 course are just a few of her numerous impacts. Through her teaching, Stephanie supports Indigenous students by uplifting and upholding the value of traditional knowledge in the sciences and beyond. Her emphasis on the Mi'kmaq sustainability concept of Nitukalim shows her dedication to passing on environmental ethics to others. Alors, une grande félicitations encore, Stephanie. Congrats, Stephanie, an honor well received. And thank you so much for your great work in the province of Nova Scotia. Thank you, everybody. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Have a great day of the conference.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam, and congratulations, Stephanie, on the award. Very well deserved.
Thank you so much.
I wonder if Stephanie might want to say a couple words.
It took me by surprise, so I didn't really prepare anything, but I really enjoy all this stuff. So as much as I can incorporate it for people and help both Indigenous and non-Indigenous, and I just like where curriculum is going, both provincially and internationally, that we're finally getting recognition that we deserve. So if it wasn't for people that paved the way for me, it wasn't an easy task, I imagine. So I'm just glad education is improving on all levels. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for everything that you've been sharing. Just before we start, I want to do a really quick rundown of exactly what EECOM is. I'm so grateful for all of you to be here with us for this conference. So EECOM is a national charitable organization that organizes a conference every year around environmental education, but as an organization that doesn't have any paid staff, they then partner with a different organization that has linked values. And this year it happens to be us at the New Brunswick Environmental Network. We have received some sponsorship from EECOM themselves, as well as Project Learning Tree, the Clean Foundation, and from Canada Heritage for the interpretation that we are hearing today. And this conference, even though it is mostly being put on by the New Brunswick Environmental Network, we could not have even come close to pulling this off without the immense support and time and planning put in by the Clean Foundation, Conservation Corps of Newfoundland and Labrador, Three Nations Education Group Incorporated, Project Gaia, and EECOM, of course. New Brunswick Environmental Network is a charitable network for, or not charitable, excuse me, a nonprofit network for any other environmental nonprofits that work within the areas of New Brunswick, which is on unceded Mi'kmaq, Wolastoqewi, and Passamaquoddy homelands, who are part of the Wabanaki Confederacy. So anybody who is working within that area is able to be part of the New Brunswick Environmental Network and take part in the programs. At NBEN, the education piece falls under Sustainability Education Alliance. So Jordan and myself are working hard at the Sustainability Education Alliance, helping to put this conference on. And when we're not doing this conference, we are there to link any educators of any kind up with the resources that they need for environmental learning. And I think there might be some links in the chat that somebody can drop in there for a bit more information on that. And how about I stop my screen share before I do that? One of the people that we are so lucky to work with is Julie Masson at the Department of Education. And I'm really excited to get an update about what they have been doing recently, because there have been some really great developments, especially with climate change education and action. Julie, I will love to give you the floor.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you for being here today, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this morning. My presentation, or my short talk, will be in French, and so I'll give you a moment if you haven't already clicked on the interpretation button and you require it, please go ahead and do that. Je vais vous partager aujourd'hui un petit peu de ce que nous travaillons depuis un certain temps, puis faire le lien avec l'environnement et le travail qu'on fait au niveau de l'environnement, le changement climatique et ainsi de suite. On a depuis 2 ans un très beau partenariat avec le ministère de l'Environnement, la JOUR. Je pense que plusieurs d'entre vous connaissez bien Rachel Robichaud, une enseignante qui, depuis l'âge de, je pense qu'elle me disait 4 ans, est très passionnée par le travail à faire autour de l'environnement, la préservation et changer nos pratiques par rapport au changement climatique et ainsi de suite. On est choyés de l'avoir parmi nous comme agent pédagogique à travailler avec nous, à apporter de petits changements dans toutes nos écoles, le progrès qu'on fait, les visites qu'on fait et tout l'engagement au niveau de chacune des écoles partout au Nouveau-Brunswick. Puis là, je parle principalement et spécifiquement du secteur éducatif francophone, dont je suis la sous-ministre adjointe. On est vraiment fiers du travail que Rachel est capable de faire avec toutes nos écoles, mais aussi le développement qu'on voit parmi nos jeunes et parmi le personnel dans leur apprentissage. Donc, c'est surtout là-dessus que j'allais m'attarder ce matin. Je vais partager mon écran pour vous partager un petit... c'est un document, puis je pourrais l'envoyer par la suite si c'est quelque chose qui pourrait vous intéresser. Mais je vous partage ce matin, c'est un retour autour du profil de sortie de l'élève. Donc, ce dont on veut que chacun de nos élèves acquièrent par la fin de leur parcours scolaire. On vise non seulement les apprentissages qu'on a toujours connus, la littératie, la numératie, les sciences, ce qu'on connaît tous et ce qu'a été la priorité pour plusieurs d'entre nous quand on était à l'école. On reconnaît l'importance d'aller au-delà. Puis les employeurs nous demandent d'aller plus loin, de développer nos jeunes parce que le travail d'aujourd'hui ne ressemble pas au travail de 50 ans passés. On a tous besoin de développer des compétences socio-affectives, cognitives, communicatives pour nous apporter à travailler ensemble, à travailler en équipe, à résoudre des problèmes complexes, des problèmes qu'on ne prévoyait pas il y a 50 ans et plus. Donc, on s'est donné un mandat. On a développé le profil de l'élève. Donc, le profil, ce qu'on vise voir chez nos élèves, chez nos jeunes diplômés, pour qu'ils puissent continuer à vivre une vie engagée, à contribuer à leur société, à contribuer à leur communauté qui les entoure, à mener une vie équilibrée. Donc, quand on parle de projet de vie et de carrière, c'est pas seulement la carrière, c'est aussi de vivre une vie équilibrée, de garder le mieux-être, de garder une belle balance dans leur vie et surtout aussi de continuer à vouloir apprendre et s'épanouir pour le reste de leur vie. Donc, comment on fait ça? Ben, on change la façon dont on éduque nos jeunes. On change ce qui se passe dans la salle de classe. Puis, je vous invite tous, quand vous avez l'opportunité de venir travailler dans nos écoles, de venir collaborer avec le personnel enseignant, les agents communautaires et tout le personnel dans nos écoles, on vous encourage de prendre davantage une approche apprenante vous-même, parce qu'on est tous apprenants. C'est pas la même chose que de prendre le siège en arrière puis regarder les jeunes faire n'importe quoi. C'est vraiment, on essaye de jouer un différent rôle de leader dans nos écoles pour que nos jeunes développent les compétences, se posent les bonnes questions, avancent leur apprentissage, mais surtout qu'ils puissent vraiment s'investir dans quelque chose qui les intéresse et les passionne. De plus en plus, ce que je vois avec nos jeunes, c'est une des choses qui les préoccupe beaucoup. Absolument, c'est l'environnement, c'est le changement climatique. On ne laisse pas la Terre, l'État autour de nous comme on l'a trouvé, puis c'est eux qui vont vraiment avoir à s'en préoccuper encore plus. Donc, c'est quelque chose qui les préoccupe. On voit dans certains jeunes, ça peut causer une certaine anxiété aussi. Je pense que vous avez certains sujets autour de ça. Je suis vraiment contente de voir lors du jour des 3 jours que vous êtes ensemble. Mais c'est une belle opportunité pour nous d'utiliser ça comme un projet sociétal, un projet complexe. Ça donne une plateforme pour que l'école puisse se réinventer et aider à nos jeunes à vraiment développer les compétences dont ils ont besoin pour réussir. J'apporte votre attention particulièrement dans l'énoncé des situations d'apprentissage. Ce qu'on vise, c'est de rendre l'apprentissage, que ce soit en salle de classe, que ce soit dehors, que ce soit en communauté, c'est de résoudre de vrais problèmes du monde d'aujourd'hui. De prendre des vrais problèmes d'aujourd'hui, pas des choses qu'on invente dans le néant, mais de prendre des vrais problèmes et de s'y pencher, de développer ensemble des solutions, de se questionner, de résoudre. Ça peut varier aussi, puis le problème d'environnement peut être adressé à tous les niveaux scolaires. Pour les tout petits, ça peut être beaucoup plus simple, comme planter nos propres jardins. On voit beaucoup d'écoles qui font ça, puis apprendre à propos de la nourriture, puis comment on peut essayer avec des serres avoir une vie plus soutenable chez nous, puis avec des plus vieux qui ont davantage acquis des connaissances, disons, en sciences et autres, le problème peut être beaucoup plus complexe. Comment traiter un lac ou un étang qui est pollué? Ça fait que la variété de projets possibles chez eux, c'est le sujet du jour nous ouvre vraiment une belle panoplie de défis. On essaie beaucoup aussi à encourager nos jeunes à faire leur propre recherche. Donc, on ne parle plus de l'enseignement unidirectionnel comme on le voyait dans notre temps, ou dans mon temps du moins, où est-ce que l'enseignant connaît tout et transmet toutes les connaissances. On vise davantage à faire en sorte que nos jeunes fassent leur propre recherche, mais se questionnent sur ce qu'ils lisent, qu'ils développent les habiletés à se poser des questions. Est-ce que ce que je lis, c'est bon? Est-ce que c'est une source fiable? Est-ce que c'est de la bonne information? Est-ce que c'est de la fausse information? Donc, je fais un peu le lien aussi avec votre prochain sujet de pensée critique. On encourage beaucoup nos jeunes à se poser ces questions-là. Puis c'est peut-être le type de questions que vous pouvez aussi apporter aux jeunes. Donc, ce n'est pas de leur trouver la solution, mais leur poser les questions pour les aider, les guider à se poser les bonnes questions, à aller trouver les bonnes réponses. On les encourage aussi à débattre des idées entre eux, avec vous. Donc, de débattre des idées, des concepts, ça travaille beaucoup la communication, aussi l'esprit critique. Puis c'est souvent comme ça qu'on ose aller plus loin avec certains sujets. Même penser à nos véhicules électriques versus à carburant, ben, ça peut être un très beau débat de qu'est-ce qui est mieux, qu'est-ce qui est pire. En bout de ligne, la batterie qui va rester après la fin de la vie du véhicule électrique, est-ce que c'est mieux ou pire que tout le carburant qu'on aurait utilisé? Ça fait des beaux débats intéressants puis des questions qui peuvent se poser. Puis ce temps-là, ça pousse beaucoup la cognition et le partage d'idées. Ça permet à nos jeunes de s'exprimer, de découvrir, puis je pense que ça, c'est beaucoup ce qu'on vise, puis ce qui va arriver ou ce qui va développer le désir d'apprendre pour la vie. Les jeunes vont continuer à vouloir en savoir plus et se questionner eux-mêmes. L'autre chose que je vous apporte ici, puis encore là, je pourrais vous partager le document. Ce qu'on cherche dans nos écoles, ce qu'on vise, c'est de vraiment développer une profondeur dans les apprentissages, de développer une réalité. Je mentionnais que c'est sur des problèmes réels de leur vie. Ça apporte une authenticité à l'apprentissage. On s'est tous questionnés, on a tous questionné nos enseignants. Pourquoi, monsieur, madame, que j'ai besoin d'apprendre ceci? Ça me sert à quoi ceci d'apprendre? Le plus que le problème est réel, le plus que le problème est complexe et vrai, le plus authentique va devenir l'apprentissage. Le plus que les jeunes se questionnent et apprennent et découvrent par eux-mêmes, le plus profond va être l'apprentissage, le plus durable va être cet apprentissage. Donc, c'est quelques morceaux qu'on vous dépose encore pour quand vous avez la chance de venir accompagner nos jeunes, cette authenticité-là aux apprentissages, on vous encourage, puis ce temps-là, on n'a pas besoin d'arriver avec toutes les réponses. Ça fait que ça rend le travail encore plus facile quand on arrive avec un groupe de vraiment être leader de l'apprentissage, pas nécessairement le savant qui connaît le tout. Puis en faisant ça, en posant des bonnes questions, en apportant de vrais défis, en apportant votre expertise, puis vos idées, en débattant les différents concepts, c'est vraiment, ça outille les jeunes à développer leur pensée critique, à développer leur communication et leur propre questionnement. Puis ça développe aussi des plateformes pour être créatifs, novateurs, de penser autrement, parce que les réponses ne leur sont pas tous données. Donc, c'est encore là, en bas, vous voyez les compétences et les composants des compétences qu'on vise développer chez nos jeunes. C'est ces compétences-là que les employeurs nous disent qu'ils recherchent chez leurs futurs employés. Donc, en utilisant un problème complexe comme le changement climatique, ça nous donne une plateforme incroyable à pouvoir développer ces compétences-là, mais c'est en posant des questions, pas en donnant des réponses qu'on va y arriver ensemble. Donc, je vous encourage, puis on apprécie énormément le travail que vous faites tous déjà dans nos écoles, puis on vous encourage aussi d'apporter cette approche-là, d'aller creuser, de donner les opportunités aux jeunes de découvrir par eux-mêmes, puis de choisir les projets qui les attirent, qui les intéressent le plus. C'est là où est-ce que l'apprentissage va vraiment être profond et riche. Donc, merci beaucoup. C'est tout pour moi ce matin. Je vous cède le reste de la conférence et surtout le sujet autour de la pensée critique ce matin. Je pense que vous allez avoir un très bel atelier qui suit celui-ci. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much, Julie. It's so fantastic to be able to show off all of the amazing work that everybody in the department has been doing, for especially just having a position for climate action is just, it is so innovative and it's just so cool. Thank you so much for speaking today.
Okay, so to start off today, we have Ron Tremblay here with us, and he is going to be talking to us a little bit about Kehkimin School in New Brunswick, and I will let him take it away.
Welcome to your Biligisk. Get we babachi mag Kenzo to go out at the Bigoti, the Chibanok, Saunesno, Guskias, no Glat, Westno, Medjvalio Chua Bazing Naji, Naganaji, Willie Kehkimin, Missinmin, Gigihin, and Lucy will walk in Macway out. Spasaqsit possesom and Lewis, Nagagaka, Ghost Wagodum, Nagamalsam Wagodum. I just wanted to speak my language first and foremost. The Muslims, my grandfather always told me to speak my mother tongue when I address people, first and foremost, because that's the language that I grew up with and I was fluent with as a child. I just invited the ancestors who dwell in the East, the South, the West, and the North to come and guide me, direct me, and to heal me today, and so I can put forward some good and kind words today. Also, I wanted to introduce myself, as my traditional name is spasaqsit possesom, which translates to Morning Star Burning. It is a name that was given to me in concert with my mother, Doris Laporte, Tremblay, and my teacher, Gwen Bear Sagate. So I want to give them the acknowledgement of giving me that very powerful name, and it holds many, many responsibilities, because what was unrevealed, or what was revealed to me within time when I received that powerful name over 30 years ago, that what light brings is clarity and truth. And unfortunately, a lot of times that I have to speak the truth, and sometimes, or a lot of times, truth is uncomfortable to speak about. So I want to acknowledge my name, and I am Gakagos Wagodum. I'm from the Crow clan through my mother's side, and Malsa Magodum, which is a Wolf clan through my dad's side. So I'm here to represent both of those clans, and I am Wolastoqewi. I'm a person of this beautiful and bountiful river, which I can see out my window, and I am the traditional Grand Chief of the Wolastoq Grand Council. Back in 2016, the Wolastoq grandmothers installed me as the traditional Grand Chief of our nation. So I like to speak a little bit about the school that started this past September. It was a vision and a dream from my first cousin, Lisa Pearlie Dutcher, who, if you know or heard of Jeremy Dutcher, it's his mom. So Jeremy comes from pretty good genes. So and musical background too. Jeremy's dad is quite musical, and plus that whole family. So Lisa, within her childhood, from time to time, lived with us in a place I call Nagutkuk, which is known as Tobik. Lisa, as a little girl and young girl, would come live with us from a few years, and then she would have to attend the Catholic day school, which we all attended up to grade 4 in Nagutkuk. And at the time, the mandate of church and state was to kill the Indian to save the child, and we were forbidden to speak our Wolastoqey Ladwaiwagan, which we call our language, and we were forbidden to practice any of our ceremonies, which we never knew about our ceremonies till later on in life. So we were at a very strict and hands down school, where they actually would punish us with a strap or a pointer if we were caught speaking our language, or even not paying attention, or even participating in their prayers or their catechisms and so on. So Lisa had to go through what we all had to go through, and unfortunately, when she moved back with her mother in the States, even though her mother, which was my aunt, was fluent in the language, they were living in the United States. So the only time her mom would converse with somebody, if she would call home, either talk to my sister or talk to her parents, which were my grandparents, in the language. So Lisa did not hear the language around her home in the States, but only when she would move back to our home community of Nagutkuk. So Lisa, a few years ago, took a Wolastoq program here in St. Mary's, just across the river from the city of Fredericton. And this is when she had this wonderful vision of creating the first Wolastoq immersion school. And so she met with myself and 2 of my sisters, and with various people who would fully support her, and which we did, because there was a study done through St. Thomas University approximately 15, 20 years ago. And it stated that all our Wolastoq communities were at high risk of losing our language. There was only, I forget back then, there was less than 1,000 speakers, fluent speakers left. And right now, there's approximately 90 to 95 fluent speakers left in our language. So we knew that our language was and is in danger. So this is what Lisa's dream was and her vision. So she put forward a lot of proposals with a lot of help from various people. She received monies from various funding groups. And then she met with some of the students who she took the immersion, or not the immersion, but the Wolastoq language class from. And they decided that they would be the teachers. So Lisa, the director, and we have four teachers now, 2 full-time, 2 part-time. I'm teaching at that level, and it's a pre-K level. So we have students between the ages of 3 and 4. We even have one of the mother who is a part-time, brings her baby in to be part of this whole teaching. So this little one gets to hear the language, gets to participate in ceremonies, to go out on the land and just to learn about who we are as Wolastoqewi. So this whole vision and dream of Lisa is such a powerful tool for us right now, because as I said, our language is endangered. And it was I'd like to talk about the curriculum development, which came from mostly my sister Roseanne Clark Tremblay, who has worked diligently on helping create immersion curriculum for the school. Now, the teachers who teach at the school aren't fluent, but they have a great understanding of the language. So my sister Roseanne goes in, I think, 2 days a week. Maggie Paul, the elder, goes in 1 day a week, and I go in one day a week to sit in with the teachers and the students at Kehkimin. Now, I should have explained what the word Kehkimin means. Kehkimin, when Lisa was trying to come up with a name, she asked us. So I said, well, why don't we use the word Kehkimin? Kehkimin means teach me. So we have a school in our language called Teach Me. So, and how Lisa puts it, it's so beautiful. She said, not only the teachers teach the kids, but the kids teach the teachers. So this is such a wonderful environment, especially when we go outdoors. And we have, we were graciously given a lease of a place out past the city of Fredericton called Killarney Lake, and there's a lodge there. So the kind gesture of the mayor and council of Fredericton leased that out to us for $1 a year, and we have access to the bottom floor of the Killarney Lodge, as well as a beautiful piece of land. And they had given us a house on the property that needs major rebuilding, because the house is old. So we're looking for funding to help us to retrofit the house and to get it ready for hopefully in a year from now. There is a beautiful piece of land behind the house where there's multiple species of trees that we cleared out a little spot, and there's a huge wigwam there that we put up so the kids go out in that beautiful piece of land and Cecilia Brooks, who's one of the medicine grandmothers here, came and she labeled all of the trees and the medicine in our language there. So the kids, when they go out and play, that we recite the words of the trees, of the medicines, of what they're doing, and so on. So it's just a wholesome way of teaching children in that environment. I just want to go back a bit. Back in the 80s, when I still lived in my community of Nouveau-Brunswick, I was into a lot of sports and teaching and coaching. And the time that I recognized that our language was in danger was when I was coaching baseball. These young boys, probably the ages of 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, and the batter, one of our batters went up to bat, and I didn't give him a sign. I just told him in my language, "Jintahan," which in our language means to bunt the ball. And then he looked at me with major confusion, and he said, "What?" I said, "Jintahan." I said it again. And he said, "What?" And I said it again, third time. So I said, "Time out, up." So I went up to him. I says, "You don't know what that means?" He says, "Unfortunately, I don't know what the heck you're talking about." So I knew then, it's kind of humorous, but it was sad to know, because when I grew up playing baseball, and this was the advantage that we had playing, various towns around us, is we can speak the language. So we didn't need all these signs that, the coaches will, give all these signs on touching their hat or their eyes, that we would just speak, and then we would know what to do. And what was the most magical part too was between the pitcher and catcher. The catcher would yell out to the pitcher what type of ball to throw, either a curve ball, fastball, drop, knuckleball, slow ball. So, but he would change up the sections of the words, so the batters and the other team would not catch on what we were saying. So that was the wonderful part growing up in a very immersed community back in the 60s and 70s. And I'm not sure, I don't want, I can't pinpoint or point fingers at exactly why we were starting to lose our language. There's many factors, be it the day school, the provincial school, the policy of to kill the Indian to save the child, and then the interrace partnerships that we had, and going to school, and plus like television, music, and now media, social media. So our language became secondary to our lives. And the reason why I'm so dedicated to reclaiming our language and bringing it forward is that what I understand, and when I studied our language, I learned how to write it back at UNB. I took classes to write our language, and I'm fortunate for that. But the key thing for us is that when I grew up, it was orally taught through our parents, our grandparents, and our siblings. I'm the youngest of 10, and we're all still kicking. We're all still above 6 feet, and we all still speak fluently. So the magical part is when we get together, we quickly turn off the English and we turn on our Wolastoq language. So it's kind of a beautiful time when we do get in gatherings with our family members. Unfortunately, we were brainwashed very young, growing up, that our language was not important, even our parents, unfortunately, thought for us to get a good job, that we need to either speak the francophone or the anglophone languages to get good jobs. But hindsight is that we would have learned the English language. It doesn't matter because it's all around us. We needed to really concentrate on preserving our language. I've worked under language preservation for the last 30 years. I've helped with curriculum development. I've done videos. I've even recently created, which I haven't put out with social media, is a game around music. I translated over close to 1,000 song titles and bands in our Wolastoq language. So I want to make it a contest for our people, especially the speakers, to have fun and reminisce about those old song titles or verses or band names and so on. So Kehkimin is a breath of fresh air. So next year we're hoping to shift from or not just pre-K, but from pre-K to K, and then each year, hopefully to add on a year. So we're looking forward to, at least up to grade 6 for now. That's our focus. And the huge problem is to get speakers and to get curriculum developers. We're all getting along in our tooth. My family members, I'm 62, and I believe I'm one of the, if not the youngest fluent speaker in our nation. So, what I failed to mention a while back is that when I was studying the language, when I started to dissect many of our, especially the old words, I started to see a pattern and a beautiful connection, and to realize how our language is so descriptive. It's verb-based, so our language describes every living thing to detail exactly what the purpose of it is. And I'll give you a couple examples. The sun, and we don't have a word for the, because I think the word the is kind of demeaning, but our word for sun is spasaqsit, which is defines to one who walks through the sky at night, or sorry, daytime. And for moon is nibauset, which one who walks through the sky at night. So it clearly defines their purpose. And even a simple thing like a table is duiput, which really doesn't mean a table. It means where you sit to consume food. And a chair is gudabud, which means where you put your fanny perpendicular down on. So, so it's really descriptive. Our language is very verb-based, and what I found is once you start to dissect and find the core of words, that our language is so beautiful, and our ancestors were brilliant when they would come up with these words. And it just makes my heart full of appreciation for them and love for them and deep, deep respect for them to leave such a beautiful, beautiful words and language. And all the Wabanaki languages and all the indigenous languages have that power and have that deep connection to the earth. And the earth, how we describe our connections to the earth. And I always say that our language comes from the earth, because it's so descriptive, every little thing that even in our creation story, it's a 3-day long story that describes everything in life that was created. So you'd have to describe everything that the great mysteries had created here on earth, to give that just. Yesterday, I just to wrap up, I know my time is probably close at hand here. Yesterday, I had to go present at the legislature with Passamaquoddy Chief Hugh and his one of his employees, Kim Reader, and we were asked to present our position on the small nuclear reactors that they are proposing. And so I said, when this first came to light, I believe 2.5, 3 years ago, a group of our elders were brought together, and they were asked how to describe the word nuclear, because we don't have a word for nuclear. So they were shown a lot of documentation, and they were shown references and film about how nuclear was processed. So at the end of the day, they came to a consensus. So they married two words together. They said Askamil Zanagwak, which Askamil means forever, Zanagwak means dangerous. So they nailed it. They nailed exactly what the word nuclear meant after finding out all those horror stories of what happened to the Navajo people and to various peoples across the world when they extract uranium and various, of the chemicals from the earth, and how you abuse the earth. And what I proposed to the people at the legislature, there were ministers, there were representatives of nuclear. I said, I know this has no relation to Kehkimin, but it does, because we're trying to save the earth as we are to save our language, because our language comes from the earth. So I said, there's 3 questions that the Wolastoq Grand Council always asks, and these were directed from the Wolastoq grandmothers. Number 1, will this damage the earth, our great mother, her veins, the water, and the air that we breathe? And number 2, are these damages irreversible? Will they always be here? And then number 3, will it harm the next 7 generations? So I told them what the answers are is yes, yes, and yes. So no, we are not in favor of these small nuclear reactors on our homeland. So because our land, or our language and our culture, our ceremonies, our songs, as the elders always say, come from our land. Even our name, Wolastoqewi, the people of the beautiful and bountiful river, our name comes from this beautiful river. So I want to thank you for listening to me. And I can ramble and I can tell so many stories, and I know I have to stop now. So Kci-Wali when Chipsidegag, good we up to Laza welcome to the Yud Chewid Billigis, Nagapside, Bamaushawagan, Chitput, Nidlage. So what I said is, I want to thank you for listening to me, and I want to thank this beautiful day, and that I was told by my teachers, Harry Laporte, Olson Witzgood, and Gwen Bear Sagate, that life is sacred. And it lage, meaning let that be so, may that be the truth, let that be so, may that be the truth, let that be so, and may that be the truth. Taho. Thank you.
Beautiful. Tuali one run. It's just so nice to hear you speak and so refreshing every single time.